suggest copy. So for that sake, teams, may I request that we continue the session. May I appreciate that we have managed to join today and avail ourselves for today's presentation. That alone is great. We really appreciate the effort that we are doing to ourselves and for the benefit of ourselves and the clients that are in our care. So, in our last session, we were looking at spirituality as a concept in palliative care, on why do we need to think about it at all, and what this concept is all about. So we are under the broader theme, which is psychosocial support of clients and their families across the disease trajectory or their journey within the condition. So from diagnosis until post-death. So we are looking at different elements. So today we are looking at the 11th session, where we will be focusing now on the real issue, which will be how do we provide palliative care. So with that in mind, may I request that we just go straight to the presentation. So we can have time to then discuss. One thing I can say is that for those who may wish to get CPT points from the program, to finish this program, we will have a post-test. And then after the post-test, you will get your certificate with the number of hours attended sent to you. So it all happens electronically. And another thing that we may wish to pass to us of all is that these are not the traditional presentations that maybe we may be used to, but these are platforms for us to share the best practices. So at the end of the session, each one of us will have the opportunity to share what he thinks or has experienced on the ground. And looking at the attendance for today, I believe all of us have an exposure to clients, and we have seen there are spiritual needs and spiritual issues that sometimes they go through. So we'll be able to discuss and share. For that reason, we are having these sessions on ECO. It's another tradition, another model to help us care the traditional way of doing things to the efficient way of learning. So may I share my slide so we can be able to have a presentation for today. So yeah, so that's what we will be looking around today. So I will give the assurance that our first presentation, which was on spirituality, is already uploaded in our IECO platform. So you can access that summary of slides there on the IDCO platform. So today we are taking part B with the assumption that we have been able to access the first one. So yeah, if ever it happens, colleagues, that you can't see my slide, I don't know if you can see it next time. Can everyone be able to see my slide? Can you see my slide?
Yes, I can.
Thank you, ma'am. Because I'm worried. I may think you are here, yet you don't know everybody's log and leave. Okay, thank you. All right, let's proceed. So there's this statement by Nario, and I like it when I found it in one of my books in the house. I liked it and then I picked it again. It says the most basic and powerful way to connect to another person is to listen. Just listen. Perhaps the most important thing we ever give each other is our attention. A love in silence often has far more power to heal and to connect than the most well-intentional ways. These are most of, I can say, this is the centerpiece of spiritual care. Most of the time is to listen. Sometimes palliative care may sound complicated when presented, but it's all about listening. It's all about the attention, the love and silence that each one of us provide to other people to heal. When people cannot be listened, they are more damaged than before. So this is what I wanted to say. So I liked this presentation. So maybe to highlight some definitions, we have already touched on them before. It's just to remind us that spirituality, as we have defined it before, can be defined as the aspect of humanity that refers to the way, as individuals, we seek and express meaning and purpose, and the way we experience our connection to the moment, to serve, to others, to the nature, and to the significant or sacred being or deity. So that's our spirituality. So it's deeper to the level where we go into the level of values. And then we also looked around the issue of religion, which is very closely related to spirituality. And then we said that religion has to do with the organization that has set of rights, rules, practices, values, and beliefs that prescribe how individuals should live their lives, and includes a relationship with the divine being. That's religion. How do you have to conduct yourself as a Christian, as a traditionalist, as a Muslim, as a Hindu, as an Arab, whatever? That's religion. So these are the things that have been scrapped. So for that reason, different religions have different rights, they have different roots, they have different practices, they have different values, they have different beliefs. And that's how most of people they end up living like that. I am a Roman Catholic, so you may find that people have different life or their spirituality is totally different from their religion or their organization. And for you to provide spiritual care, we need to be able to understand that there is a difference between the patient's or the client's spirituality or my own spirituality and my organization. Sometimes you'll find that they may be the same, but sometimes we find that they are different. You may find that this is a Christian, but the way he seek and express purpose, the way he find connection is totally different. The way he connects to himself is not how his organization defines that. So also we have the one that we are going to look at today, which is spiritual care. And it is recognizing and responding to the multifaceted expressions of spirituality we encounter in our patients and their families. So now it's responding to the expressions of these patients or to the spirituality needs of these patients and their families. And the purpose is to determine the nature of the person's relationship to God or a sacred being, a diet, other people, and to give the person the opportunity to accept spiritual support. So that's all what we are trying to do when we are doing spiritual care. It's not a complicated thing, but it's very simple, but requires more attention. So once we are able to recognize and respond to these expressions and needs of these patients and their families, and then we are able to help them in terms of getting to know how is their relationship with the diet of God, and how is their relationship with other people, and how is their connection with the society, the nature they are in, and then you also give them the opportunity to accept the spiritual support that they are getting. And then there is no spiritual care or spirituality where there is no compassion. Today we had the opportunity as a Eswatini to celebrate Palliative Care Day. So one of the things that was profound and mentioned during these commemoration speeches was the issue of humanity, the issue of compassion, the ability to apathetically present to another person while he or she is suffering and is trying to find meaning. So we need this element the most in palliative care, to have this compassion to the other people, being there, being present, empathetically present to that person. And then also we cannot do spirituality without understanding the issues of existence, the existential issues, because under spirituality, one of the things we need to understand is that existential issues are there in spiritual care. Because part of the definition they will include existential issues in spirituality. So existential issues has to do with relating to human existence and experience, understanding that these are human beings and they have these existential needs, and they have accumulated certain experiences that need to be recognized also. So that's what we need to understand when we are going to provide palliative care, especially when we're going to do spiritual care. So we need to understand spirituality, religion, spiritual care, compassionate existential, and the minimum. Okay. And then maybe to look at spirituality in a little bit, there are three things we may want to look at here. Spiritual care is simply meeting the other person. That's simple it is. It's like, I want to meet you, human to human, providing compassionate presence and being available for whatever comes up. So that's spiritual care. Simply, it's meeting the other person, human to human, understanding this is another human being, and I want to meet him as a human being. And I want to provide compassion, presence, and being available for whatever comes up. And one of the characteristics of good palliative care service delivery is that the program should be, or the services should be available 24/7. So I must be available for the patient for whatever comes up, whether it's death, whether it's recovered, whatever. I need to be there as a human being. So as clinicians, sometimes we need to meet our clients as human beings. So for spiritual care, at its core, it's about being honest. Palliative care. It's about being honest, being authentically human, allowing our own humanity to touch the humanity of the other. That's what we do in spiritual care. It's about human influence, having the opportunity to impact, to touch the other person through your humanity, being authentically human. And being honest. So it's all about that. At its center is about honesty. In the course of offering spiritual care, God and religious and ideas may emerge, but they do not get into anything much. It's about humanity. It may not be the God that is far away, that may not be physically there, the religious beliefs that you may think of, but it's about the contact. It's about the human to human. So when you are going to give spiritual care, you need to be true to yourself and be true to the other person. Be aware of your spirituality and the other person. Be aware of your needs and the other person. So be human as much as possible as you can. When we go to the bedside, most of the time we go there to help or fix. But we don't go there to do that thing when it comes to spirituality. When we go to bedside, whether it's in the ward, or anywhere where the patient is found, we go there to serve. In one presentation, I picked this one and said that, when you see me as your client vulnerable, you feel like you want to help me. But when we go there to them, we will go to these clients to serve them. Is to meet them at their needs, to serve them. We are servants. We are just there to serve. We allow our humanness, our whole being, our brokenness, our compassion, our vulnerability to be present in the forefront, of who we are. We bring the real us, not the socialized us. So that's what we do in this people. We are not here just to help or fix them, but we are there to serve them, to allow ourselves pour ourselves out. In palliative care or in spiritual care, what does this mean, serving others? It means that you cannot pour from an empty cup. You need to be filled with something first. You need to heal from your brokenness. And you need to acknowledge all that, your vulnerability, and then and be present. When we serve, we create a space where healing can occur, both for the saved and the saved. For that reason, spiritual care in palliative care is so powerful in a way that it heals the server and the served. When we serve our patients through spiritual care, we are putting ourselves as healthcare workers at a platform of healing, even for ourselves. So we need to understand that when we are providing spiritual care, this is the level we need to create. Simply meeting the other person as a human to human and be honest, authentically as human beings, and then be in a position to serve them, not help them, not fix them. No, we are there to just serve them, be there. So in that way, we are saved. These are some of the essential elements. I will not mention some of them. I've already mentioned them. But these are the elements that are very important when we are providing spiritual care. It's authenticity. No? Be authentic. Kindness, compassion, respect of the different cultures, decisions, belief systems, dignity. Everybody deserves dignity. Nobody should be seen or diminished in one way or the other, even if it can be contrary to my religious beliefs in my church or whatever religion I'm from. But if it's very important to give what we call dignity, respect the person as a human being, it's humanity, Ubuntu. Today we're talking about Ubuntu, which we have lost. Actually, when a society loses humanity, it's a sign that the society has lost what we call a health spirituality. It's a sign of some spiritual distress, vulnerability. Let's be there. Service, honesty, and empathy. I've mentioned those things. So they form part of the elements of spirituality care. So each and every one of us, even in this webinar or session, you can agree with me that at some point, one way or the other, we have spiritual needs. Unless then we have killed our spiritual nature. But we all have spiritual needs. And one of those needs is the meaningful philosophy of life that values the moral sense. What is the meaning of life for me? Why am I alive for? What drives me to wake up daily? The values and the moral sense of life. What is the meaning of life? And number two, the need is the sense of transcendent. Seeing yourself outside yourself, viewing the view of God or something beyond the immediate life, or having hope. If there is no transcendent in life, you become a hopeless being who cannot see outside self. If you view yourself within your limitations, you have no hope beyond yourself. So those needs, they intensify during illness. You find that the person cannot see outside of himself or herself, has no view of something beyond the immediate life. It's like life ends at the tomb on burial time. So if you can still have hope beyond the immediate life that you're in, having hope beyond the terrible situations, transcendent. A trusting relationship with God or a certain deity, faith. In the Christian Bible, it is written, faith is the substance, the hope for something that has not been seen, hoping for something that is not tangible. So it's the faith. Every one of us, or everyone, has a need to have a trusting relationship with God. Can I still trust God even if I'm diagnosed kidney failure advanced stage? Can I still trust God if I have cancer stage 4 advanced treatment? Can I have trust? So those are the needs. A relatedness to nature and people, the one called friendship. So that's what the needs we need to have. So we all have needs of friendship. If you are neglected by people, you are rejected, you feel like nature is turned back on you, people have turned back on you, you become sick. Experiencing love and forgiveness. You find that people, when they are approaching it in the end, they will want to forgive other people. They will want to be forgiven by other people. All of us at some point we need to be forgiven. And we want to forgive other people. And we want to be loved. So these are needs of people. And also, as I've mentioned, the sense of life meaning. What is life for me? What is life for me? So then the question is, knowing these needs that all of us we have, why spiritual needs are neglected? One of them is unrecognized spiritual needs. People have not recognized their own spiritual needs. As clinicians, you find that I don't know my spiritual needs. I don't know what exactly I need. I don't know. And thus are uncomfortable in assessing them in others. If you can really tell the truth, why are we not assessing the spiritual needs of people? It's because we are not comfortable sometimes, because we are even not aware of our own spiritual needs. So the unrecognized personal spiritual needs is another factor that leads to the neglect of patients or clients' spiritual needs. And then another one is that religion or spiritual matters is considered or are considered a private business. My belief is my own thing, it's not something for public. It's public, it's my private matter. Religion is considered a private matter, why not to be discussed? That's what I say. It's something that I need not to discuss here. I am a doctor, I am a pharmacist, I am a nurse, I am a social worker. I have nothing to do with I am a nurse, I have nothing to do with your beliefs or your religion. I'm just concerned about you and the drugs. Finish. We consider it that way. And it is important in medicine to assess a person's physical situation related to his bowel movement or his other sex life. We do that before we are looking around prescribing sometimes antibiotic stuff. We may consider some drugs to consider sexuality issues. But these are also private issues because we will do some full examination of the woman on the OPD and you are going to examine the woman private parts, and that way it's a private issue. But we have not ignored it because of its importance. But when it comes to spiritual life or spiritual needs, we just run away because it's considered a private matter. Another issue that is that there's this question that should, as a clinician, should, as a nurse, be interested in spiritual needs of my patients? And the answer is yes, we should be interested. So sometimes we are not interested in those things. So patient care is done by a team of interfacing disciplines. When we started this module, we opened it with the multidisciplinary approach or the interdisciplinary approach in providing psychosocial support. So we need one another. Even though multidisciplinary is nice to achieve other things, but sometimes interdisciplinary is very great. So each discipline contributes a special perspective on human experience, which when taken together can lead to a general understanding of the healing process. So each of these persons have a major role to play. So, and all of these people can provide a certain amount of spirituality. And at some point, We know that the pastoral care and the health chaplaincy is very key in dealing with complicated spiritual distress issues, and then they take over. But all of these people, we need to deal with issues and work together in providing palliative care. So when we're providing palliative care, all of us need to do that. And then the question then is, I have seen the disciplines presented today, but in my practice area, maybe for example, in hospice at home, I'm visiting a patient at home, or it came to my ward, like in oncology. This person, there's no chaplain or whatever, I'm alone as a clinician. What do I know about providing spiritual care? Nothing. But what we can say is that spiritual care is the purview of everyone. Everyone has something to say about spiritual care. The medical staff, the palliative care team, the patient's families and friends, they have a view about spiritual care. So it is understandable that many people feel unqualified, uncomfortable to provide spiritual intervention. That's true. If you ask them, why are you not doing this? I feel like I'm unqualified, or I feel I'm uncomfortable. And many feel that because these beliefs are not religious, so they just live it like that way. Others, although defining themselves as religious, do not feel comfortable to pray out loud or with someone else, or they think they do not know the Bible or any Quran or any holy book we may think of. Like, I don't know the Bible, I cannot pray, so I don't want to do it. So the religious interventions are only a part of the spiritual care. They are often best handled by chaplain or professional spiritual care sometimes. So the religious issues, because there is difference what religion is described in. So we just don't need to deal with religious issues. We just need to deal with spiritual issues. So sometimes we find that chaplains are trained to address spiritual and existential concerns, both religious and non-religious. So the chaplains in the church are there to deal with complicated issues. So spiritual care, it does not require a special degree, but it does take awareness of oneself and the other. And it takes effort and strong commitment. Spiritual care is about being a human being, allowing our humanity to touch the other humanity. So whether you know the Bible, whether you can pray that much or what, is not an issue when it comes to providing spiritual care. Whether you are a nurse or so at the bedside, you are there 24/7 or wherever, generally, everybody, we need to spend time with the patient and their families. And it's important that we know how to provide and do it well. Whenever we have the opportunity to provide spirituality, so that is it, we need to know how to do it. And the similar way is that to provide spiritual care, you don't need to have a lot of degrees. You just need to be aware of your own self and then the other person, and then be committed to do that. And that way you will be able. And remember that spiritual care is not about a lot of things, but it's about being human and allowing your humanity to touch the other humanity of another person, or the humanity of another person. So that's it all, nothing much. So sometimes there are questions that may require chaplain development. Maybe you're assessing a patient, there are certain questions that the patient is asking you. So if patients are asking questions about God, expressing concerns, ruminating over existential issues, then an appropriate intervention would be to make a referral to a chaplain or a pastoral person closer, if that's available for you. And if you don't have the information or the skill to address those questions, such questions as, what have I done to deserve this? I pray that I pray, but I'm still sick. I used to believe in God, but now I'm not sure what I believe in. How will my family get along without me? What did my family mean? What did my life mean? And I'm scared. Sometimes I'm scared of what. Then you do your investigation. Sometimes you may need to do some referral in such questions for chaplain support. And there are questions maybe when these questions will come out. There are different tools that we have. At Hospice, we are using the home model. So you may do have others in your facilities, but there are many. I'm giving you this opportunity to go check these ones. We have spiritual, we have spirit, we have Fika, we have let go, we have hope. What I want to say is that nurses and doctors should know the patient's personal values and wishes. We need to know that. And the patient's religion is specified in the medical record. It's very important that in our documentation, the patient's religion is specified in the medical record, so that should there be the spiritual need to be good, we are able to find the correct person to help us address those religious spiritual issues. And the secret in the care of patient is caring for the patient. That's simple it is. Nothing else. That's the secret for caring for the patient, is in caring for the patient. Nothing else. So if you are going to do that, so I will not dwell much in these tools. So what I'm going to say is that you can just check them even on the previous studies that have been done in this model to see which one can work well in your setting. By Hospice, we are using the home model even for screening. We use the home model. There are 4 or 5 screening questions that we use, so that each and every patient that comes on our hands is screened for spiritual care, distress, or spiritual distress, so that we can early refer and identify those needs and address them as early as possible. And then what could be the interventions? There are many. One of which is the continuous assessment of this patient using the different tools I've mentioned. And before we can do the continuous assessment, the in-depth assessment, it's very critical that in our care of the patient, each patient should be screened. If you can notice in today's presentation, we have symptom screening, which include pain screening for patients. So when we ask them, do you have pain? And then we have depression screening, we have anxiety screening, we have now spirituality screening or spiritual care need screening. So why are we doing all this screening? Is that palliative care is the same as prevention. So palliative care and prevention, they are friends. And for that reason, palliative care works very well when it's the primary health care level. Because palliative care is about prevention. Prevention of what? Suffering. So we are preventing suffering. And you remember when we were defining pain, that we said pain is beyond the physical body. It's go beyond that one to psychological, emotional, and spiritual. So even spiritual, when we are going to do the home model maybe or any assessment, we need to screen each and every patient for depression. We screen each and every patient for spiritual distress. We screen each patient for anxiety. We screen each patient for pain. We screen patients across substance use disorders. So it's prevention. For that reason. But then now, what spiritual intervention we can deploy? One is compassionate presence. So compassionate presence, it is possible to promise to accompany the patient for a journey. It is possible. This means the medical team can assure the patient it will do everything possible to alleviate pain and suffering, and that the patient and the family will not be abandoned. Do you see? This one doesn't take you a lot of work. You promise them you will be with them and you will alleviate pain and suffering, and you will be with them. You will not abandon them. Being present is much more than just being in the room. One needs to be really present psychologically and emotionally. Psychological presence entails work and effort on the part of the caregiver, right? And kindness, deep listening, empathy are required for psychological and compassionate presence. It goes back to the elements that we started with. So we need to have kindness and have time to listen. That's why in palliative care communication is the backbone of palliative care. Have empathy, which is one of the pillars in breaking bad news. When you communicate, have empathy, and these are the requirements for you to be there and the psychologically present. Providing compassion present is more than just showing up or walking into the room, right? But being present in the room, in body, in mind, and in spirit. The patients can tell when you are with them, but you are not with them. For that reason, I'm just making myself an example. For that reason, my phone running this, I don't allow it to read. Later on, when I'm approaching patients, I ensure it goes to silence because I want to be present in body, in mind, and in spirit with my patient. So that I have this, what they call in social work, the 60 seconds. I'm here with the patient, I can relate to whatever the patient goes through. So should my phone rings, and then that compassionate presence is distorted. And it's about exhibiting empathy and focused attention. Patients can tell if you are not listening or you are not giving them the attention. You are just in the room, just passing by. If I'm going to administer medication during the ward rounds, patient can tell that you are not concerned about them, but you are concerned about the doctor's order. But when you are providing spiritual care, you are here. For me, at this moment, I can tell as a client, you are here and you are here for me in body, in mind, and in your whole being. You are here. Remember, spiritual care is about meeting the client human to human. Presence does not take any more time than just showing up, but it does take a lot more effort, energy, and attention. For that reason, providing palliative care needs more support, and issues of debriefing are required because it takes more energy out of you. It takes more time from you. You cannot be the same after meeting a patient if really you were there for the patient. So it takes some sort of out of you. So spiritual care drains at some sort. It makes an enormous difference to the person who is the recipient. So when we are providing compassion, it creates a difference. The patient will change, will tell, and sometimes confess that thank you so much for being there for me. So I have this story. A nurse can go into a patient room, walk in directly to the IV pole, hand the medication, turn and walk out. That's what the nurse can do. You can do that. Or the same nurse can go to the patient's room, walk over to the patient, first make an eye contact, communication. Smile, communication. Gently touch the patient, hand, that's communication. And then walk to the IV pole. Hand the medication, look directly into the patient's eyes once again, smile, turn, and walk out of the room. These are two people. One just went into the room, go straight to the IV, and then that's what he wants to do, and left the room. Another one had some body language with the patient, and then he does what she came for, and she has some communication with the patient, and she left. So if you look at these two people, they are in the world, but they are communicating different messages to the patient. So human beings have a need to be seen and be heard. Spiritual care is about preserving dignity, truly seeing the other person. Do you see the other person? It is about hearing the spirit of the message, not just seeing the body and hearing the words. Getting the spirit of the message. What is this person saying? It's about connecting to the heart, the mind and soul, because that connection says, I see you, I hear your concern, you matter, you are important, you are not alone, and I care. So that's what it is all saying. So whenever you are doing, even if the patient may not be able to talk back to you, but your communication in a non-verbal messages or cues, they are communicating these things if you are doing like business. So that's what we call compassion present or just being present. And then another thing you can do under spiritual care is to listen, deeply listening more than listening, which means that this means hearing what is being said, what is not being said, and trying to understand the emotions and feeling behind each and every word spoken. That's what deep listening says. You listen to what is being said to you and what is not being said, and trying to understand the emotions and feelings behind the words being said to you. It means to tune in to another person so that we understand what or who that person really is on a deep, authentic level. Who that person really is, who is Sandy indeed. It requires the ability to hold the pain and suffering of another. When a person trusts us enough to be vulnerable in our presence, then goes even further, explaining the circumstances of their pain and suffering, he or she has offered as a gift. So we need to listen. When they open up to us, we need to celebrate and understand those things. And then we have, it is our responsibility to embrace and protect the gift and treat it with the utmost respect, care, and difference. Talking, listening, telling our stories are all part of human experience, right? Listening deeply and being psychologically or compassionate present are spiritual interventions that anyone can learn. So all of us can do that, but it takes time, practice, effort, and willingness. Intention to truly be available to another person or another human being. All right. So many receiving palliative care have been told there is no cure for them, there is no money to take you to hospital, there is no morphine for your pain, there are no medication in hospital, and they've been told those things. A cure may not be possible, but the opportunity for healing is always present. So we need to understand those things. So the opportunity for healing is always there. And as healthcare workers, we can be the conduit to healing simply by being present and listening deeply. In that way, we become the conduit. And then we have what we call being witness, being the witness of the patient. It may seem a foreign concept to some people, but it is integral to spiritual care and part of our human being experience too. We feel the need to share our experiences. We feel compelled to hear other people's stories, right? To be a witness is to be present to the events and the emotions of others' lives and experiences. We find strength and comfort in knowing that our human beings be a witness to the significant events of our lives, the good and the bad that we are experiencing. It may seem that bearing witness is a passive event, such as watching or observing. But we need to understand that beneficially bearing witness takes focus and intention, just like compassion, presence, and deep listening. So bearing witness is not fixing or rehearsing or imparting answers or platitudes. Platitudes are seldom hearing, and answers can function to alienate the one who seek or we seek to save, right? And there are some things in medicine that have definite answers, and some do not. You may not have the medical answer. What is the solution in terms of our science here? So in spiritual or existential realm, there are very few, if any, absolutes. So we need to understand those things. And our spiritual and existential answers are our own, and revealed to us through years of living through our own lens and experience. So they are all from you. And offering an answer to another person's spiritual question or providing meaning is not in the purview of healthcare professionals, and generally is not helpful. It's not helpful or beneficial. So we are not here to maybe to give every answer. But bearing witness means compassionate presence, not answering questions, responding to everything. No, it's just to be present, listening, watch, observe the patient, right? So our job is to offer not only compassion, but also to accompany as best as we can those dying on their journey. So being the witness of the patient's journey, being a very witness, like presence, listening does not mean taking away the person's pain and suffering. It may not mean that. It is the ability to sit in the midst of whatever is happening, be there. It means being comfortable enough in our own pain and suffering that we can just sit quietly and be with another human being who's suffering and not run away. When everybody's running away, we caregivers, we need to equip others not to run away. It also means being aware of our own grief, being a witness, being in touch with that grief so that it does not spill over and leak out onto the patients and the families we serve. We guard our own griefs so that we don't end up letting it affect other patients. So, and the last one, maybe not least, is the issue of compassion at work, which is different between being present. So we need to understand that being present, listening deeply, being witness, require a commitment from the one who said. These things require us to be committed. So compassion is the next step in providing spiritual care. Empathy is a vital element to spiritual care, as I've mentioned in my previous slides. Then the capacity to put ourselves in the presence of another is paramount. We can never know what another person is really feeling, but we can, in our own mind, imagine what it might be like for us to be in the patient's situation. It is almost always appropriate to ask a person to tell us more about the story. Even when a person is open and wants to talk about his or her experiences and feelings, it can be difficult to know how far to take the conversation. So those are one of the challenges. So what spiritual questions that are appropriate to ask? One of those things are you scared? what makes your life worth living? What are you most afraid of? Is there anything worse than death? Do you have any regrets? So forth and so forth. There are many, you can have them. Sometimes talking and listening are not enough. Sometimes. And then the question is, what patients say may reveal that he or she needs more. So, and those things may require a chaplain referral or a phone call to a family member. They need a prayer, a walk into a garden, whatever environment, the present environment or nature, a feeling of urgency to leave the hospital and go home. They may have those things. And then when people begin to have these needs, what can we do? They want a referral to a chaplain, they want to call a family member, they need prayer, they need to take some time, fresh air, visit certain places. They need an agent to leave hospital or may want to go to hospital. What then can we do? So one of the things that I'm advocating for the patient is the vital element for spiritual care, and it is a spiritual care intervention itself. So we need them to advocate for the patients. So the one is very important and then advocate for them so that their needs may be met. At the end of the day, it's not about us healthcare workers, it's about the client getting their needs. And lastly, I want to share that other things that we may do is to have rituals. At some point, it helps to have rituals like birthday cakes. So a rituals do not have to be religious in nature and can be created spontaneously in the moment and can be to meaningfully acknowledge the person and can be there living or in circumstances of our lives. For example, at Hospice at home, we have our rituals. Every month when a staff member has a birthday, that birthday is recognized and celebrated. It's a ritual. Many times the disease becomes the descriptor by which patients identify themselves. For that reason, the rituals help us. So because these people end up describing themselves with the condition they have. So for patients or clients to avoid losing their identity to the disease, it can be especially helpful to maintain as much as normality as possible by using the simple rituals that can remind them of what they had did before the onset of the disease. For example, they enjoy birthdays, they enjoy bedtime stories, they enjoy prayer sessions, they enjoy vacations, reading newspapers, whatever they used to enjoy before, playing music, those things that have become rituals for them. So healthcare professionals, we need to acknowledge patients as unique individuals with distinct wants, needs, and desires, so to give meaning and suggestions for the rituals that can support into their patients' life experiences. Although rituals are fewer in number, they can be equally important and be beneficial, though. So I will not dwell much on this one, but I just want to share that there are many questions that patients will ask when they are approaching their end of life. So it's very important to understand also the different issues that may arise also in that during end of life. So spiritual identifiers in dying patients may include that: is there a purpose or value to their life? They will go through to say, are they able to transit their sufferings? Are they at peace with themselves and others? Are they hopeful, or they are despairing? So we need to understand all those things. Do their beliefs help them cope with their anxiety about that, with their pain? Do they aid them in attaining peace? So all these things, they help us understand spiritual issues even when they are approaching end. And then for healthcare professional interventions, for spiritual care towards the end of life. It helps to practice compassion presence, listening to the patient's fears and hopes, and obtaining spiritual listening, attentiveness to all dimensions of the patient's and patient family, which means attentive to the body, the mind, the spirit of the patient, and also incorporating spiritual practices as appropriate and involve chaplains and the multidisciplinary team. So the trial is very important to know as clinicians. And there are three most important things to remember when providing spiritual care for those in active death stage. I hope we will do these things when we are doing with end of life care, but I just wanted to understand that these things are very important. We don't need to wait, and we need to attentively watch and listen and trust your instincts. These three things are very important when the patients are approaching the end of life. So we need to know that I don't need to wait until the patient dies. I need to attentively watch and listen and trust my instincts at all costs. And unresolved issues and the fears at end of life, these are some of the issues that may be there. So you may find that there are all different and broken relationships that need to be fixed. Last visit, seeing people for the last time. Some patients will want to visit some patients. In our experience, we've seen patients, especially the elderly, will want to go to their home places. And then their lifetime projects, patients will be saying, we had one patient in Shiselo at some point, when we were building the house, he then died. Why? Because of that, the project that he all dearly wanted to have for his wife was almost finished. Then they were unfinished businesses, and they have a funeral plan. Sometimes a patient who developed a full funeral plan, and then he prepared the food for the day, he prepared everything, and then he died within 7 days later. So that was nice to see them working on those issues. Some will have financial plans, insurance and stuff. Some will need to forgive and be forgiven. And some will lose of control and dignity, loss of relationship, being abandoned, they feel like that, and physical, and many issues and fears that patients go through. So we need to identify those issues and help them resolve them as possible as we can. So healthcare professionals also, we will cover this in one of our sessions, I hope in our next module next year, which will include taking care of ourselves and dealing with our own being. So healthcare professionals, we need to deal with our own grief, but that does not mean as caregivers, we are immune to our own grief. All people who are alive are aware and experience grief when someone dies, regardless of the relationship they had. So as nurses, as different colors and others, we need to be able to serve at all costs. And it is very important to understand that we are better able to serve when we have knowledge and understanding of our own pain. And we've made an effort to work through our own grief processes. We have a lot of problems because we have not dealt with our own grief and losses as clinicians. So it's very important that we need to deal with that decisively. So what I can say that it is very important that to provide these interventions as clinicians, we need to understand that to provide this intervention in a way that invites healing requires us as caregivers to learn or be in a position to be willing to learn. Palliative care is evolving every time, so we need to keep ourselves learning and have the ability to be without agenda and to be committed, to be ever vigilant, and to be have what we call self-introspective. So as clinicians, we are expected to ease suffering whenever and wherever possible. And quality spiritual care does not require superhuman acts. Quality spiritual care requires human kindness, compassion, and caring. Maybe in summary, I would say that spiritual care is perhaps the most mysterious and often misunderstood part of palliative care. Recognizing and addressing spiritual needs is fundamental to palliative care, and spiritual care addresses issues of religious existential and suffering and humanity. And as clinicians, we need to provide spiritual care through deep listening, presence, bearing witness, and compassion, and sometimes manipulating those ritual and other maneuvers. I think this is what my presentation entails, colleagues, for today. So in these few minutes I'm left with, may I give you, colleagues, that you may share your input. Otherwise, this is what I can share, that you say, what is spirituality? If anyone want to share, that will be nice, but that will be the end of my presentation for concerning spiritual care. It's simple as that. So we can't neglect it in our different setups, but we need to provide it. So opening this, I can, if you can't talk, you can put it on chat, your comments, your question. I will be here, and my team is also here. Or anyone who is here can respond. So that's how it is. I'm waiting for someone to say something. Anyone wants to say something, colleagues? That was my presentation on the spiritual care. Looking forward for. You can just unmute and say that will be, or as I'm alone.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Good afternoon, Mani.
Yeah, colleagues, we are not alone, Sandy. Okay, I'm here, and we thank you for the preparation of this presentation. I still say what I've said before. We are more spiritual than physical. So if we don't take care of our spirituality, we are deemed to fail in one way or another. So it is more important, like I said, for ourselves and then for our clients. It's something that we need to address for us to have good outcomes in the care that we provide and in self-care as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Maggie. Yeah, we are more spiritual than physical beings. And today we can tell really we need to take care of ourselves. Because think of it, when I'm sick, then I can take care of myself. And I need to take care of the other person. Insecurities will come in. then I will fail to do it. But then I say that one of the things we also need to do is to shape our documentations in the facilities, even though we are not saying that then our care be centered around documenting. Let's shape them so they guide us, so that we screen every patient for spiritual needs. Every patient should be screened for spiritual needs. As we have mentioned them through the needs of the patient, you can just screen those ones, or you can screen them using the home model. So let's just have some screen somewhere where we can tick and say this one was present, this was not. So we can detect and then actually I would say nursing is like spiritual care. If you are not spiritually healthy as a nurse, you will cause more havoc in the practice. So you need to be aware of spiritual health, spiritual care, spirituality, and then meet the others, human to human. Never at any point in time tell them to be things or just people, but human to human. And then we'll be able to help them. So I was hoping that someone else can have a comment. I still have 7 minutes left in my time here. All right. Let me see this point. All right. Sister, but I think thanks for the fruitful presentation. The spiritual issue is really a huge challenge even to us. We need to understand spiritual issues regarding palliative care aspects. Yeah. That's true. It's a real challenge. So we need to give ourselves time and practice it. One step at a time. If I cannot embrace some certain religious practices of other people, then I need to deal with myself and be comfortable with my own. Then I will be able to help other people. And with these patients who are in palliative care, think of it, I want to be forgiven. I killed a person so much late back, and then now I want to be forgiven. So patients, they go through a lot of things. Some they want to forgive someone, but you know, some they will die with those grudges, with those needs not met, because clinicians never have the moment to sit down. Do you have the need to forgive or to be forgiven by someone? And then the patient will say, I need to forgive so and so. So we need to deal with those issues. And studies are proving that spirituality on its own plays a major significance even in pain control. They are even saying that those women who are in labor ward with strong spiritualities, they experience less labor pains compared to those who don't. So that means spirituality is a very important issue in our lives. All right, thank you so much. And I hope from today's presentation and that previous one with spirituality, that was one with spirituality, each and every one of us today, we can now attest that providing spiritual care is not something that requires a lot of things, but it requires a compassion presence. Make a decision, I will be present for one patient at a time. And I will give myself time to listen to this patient. And I will bear witness and provide compassion. So I will try to provide this at least for the beginning. I will try to do it. And then that's how we graduate from one level to the other. If then you are a religious person with good strength or religious knowledge, you will then be able to do that. And as I say, my love is my connection here. Otherwise, thank you so much, Mr. Fell, for the presentation. Very much on point. I think the emphasis on self-awareness and deliberately trying to assist, deliberately trying to assist the client to connect in a way they feel comfortable and familiar. At least we cause we cause more confusion in a bit to try to guide them to what we perceive as right. Yeah? Yeah? It's very important to be aware of yourself. So when you approach this person, you are not telling them what they need to do. You are just here to help them experience their own spirituality. And then if they are aligned to certain religion and wanna be referred to certain chapter, you do that. If they want scriptures, you allow them to do that. What I've noticed is that sometimes we go to the patient, serving the patients. Sometimes we go to them and then they help you spiritually, other than you helping them. They are now helping you as a server or as a clinician. So it's very important that when we approach them, we learn to listen to them. We come to be present in their situation and allow to hear their concern and give the attention. So it's spiritual here about I'm pouring myself to you. I'm giving you myself. I'm giving you my human. I'm pouring out that I have, which is love, which is my attention, which is my ear that I'm giving you. So you can trust me with yourself. So in that way, and then you are helping the patient. Yeah. And then once they feel that they have someone who can listen to them, then they open up to you and then you will help them. Sometimes they will need prayer, sometimes they will need referral, sometimes they will need different things. I've made an example of a nurse. One will come, just go straight to the IV line and put those medication and leave the room. One will come to the room, smile at the patient, look at the patient, and then go to the IV pole. These two people are different. One is doing with the procedure, one is doing the procedure and presenting herself or himself to the patient, which is compassion presence, listening, be there for the patient. Then the patient tells a human being was in my presence. In that way, they will appreciate us and never wait until it is too late. Screen every patient for spiritual needs. Each and every patient. If you can screen yourself too, let's screen ourselves. What are my spiritual needs? Because unrecognized personal spiritual needs leads to patient suffering and lack of assessment and management of those patients' needs. Thank you so much, colleagues, for this presentation and for your comments on chat. Thank you. This presentation will be available in 30 minutes time in our YouTube channel, Eswatini Hospice at Home. It will be there in our YouTube channel. You can go get it. Spiritual care, it will be then uploaded. We've already uploaded the presentation into today's IECO platform. In our next session will be on the 20th of November, 2024. We will be looking at another different aspect in psychosocial, which is sexuality in illness in palliative care. Thank you. Have a great day. Let's meet on the 20th when we are going to look at the issue of sexuality when there's an illness like in palliative care. Thank you.